whatever. Okay. What's good, everybody? This is the Like a Bad Neighbor podcast. My name is Mike, and this is my co-host, Justin. Um, Justin, you want to kind of explain how we cross paths and how everything led to today?
Oh man, I think that would be a very, very long and arduous task. But no, I'll make it short and sweet. Like we were born in well, I was born in a log cabin. No, I'm joking. No, but in all seriousness, we cross paths at work.
Yep.
We're both really, really passionate about sports, specifically New York sports, and
We're not
you
going to
know,
mention the company that we worked for, but I guess
yeah, yeah,
people with
if
half
you're
a
if
brain can
you're
figure it
yeah,
out.
if you're savvy enough, you could probably figure it out. But at the end of the day, yeah. So
And
you know, like
we immediately took a liking to each other. We had a lot in common. We were big New York sports fans, and there's nobody else in the office that I really connected with on a like level like that. I guess you can say, as far as like being a sports fan. There's a lot of people in the office. They're cool and all, but they didn't really show the same type of passion that we do
no,
for our teams. And
no.
yeah, we just kind of kicked this idea around for a while and finally committed to it and ready to
Yeah, I'm
just
excited, man. Like
yeah.
this is to me, this is what I always, or one of the things, or an itch, I should say, that I always wanted to scratch.
Yeah.
That's probably the easiest way to put it. But yeah, man,
It, it-
I'm
and it's
excited.
and it's rare when you can meet somebody that has your group of teams that you like. When you live in New York, you're either a Yankees or Mets fan, right? We just so happen to be Yankee fans, and we're a strange combination too. We like the
Yes.
Yankees, Rangers, Jets, and Knicks. It's a very odd combo, but those are our teams.
Yeah,
So
and for for the diehards that know it, I'm saying I'm beating a dead horse, but to me, like if you're a New Yorker, right, and you're a New York sports fan, it's usually some combination of Jets, Mets,
mhm.
usually some combination of like Islanders, Mets. It's usually the sad sack teams,
Yeah.
or it's like the blue bloods, like your Giants, Yankees, Rangers combo.
Right.
But it's kind of funny. We got a little bit of salt and pepper in there. We mix some agony with some really, really good elite teams. So it was fun. Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
it's
So we get the
rare.
best
It's
of
rare
both
you come
worlds.
across it really is. It's ironic that we ended up meeting, but on top of that, we're rooting for the same team. So
Yeah, absolutely. I always like to think of it like my whole life. It's like the Yankees kind of balanced out my, sports teams. Like they were the ones that kept me passionate about them. They were always winning back in the late '90s, early 2000s, and they were the team that like saved me from the Jets and how horrible they were. And the Knicks were terrible in those years, and the Rangers were up and down, but you can never really rely on them. So.
no, no, and like it's one of those environments that we like. It's funny. New Yorkers like rooting for underdogs.
Yeah,
Like I've
yeah.
always found that. But when you had a sustained level of winning like the Yankees, it kind of we also play a good villain. When we're the evil empire or we're the unstoppable team, we love to rub it in everyone else's face. So
Absolutely.
to me, yeah, exactly. But at some point you want to punch up instead of punching down. So like
Hmm.
for all those Mets brethren out there that have little brother syndrome, like I I feel for I feel for you, and yeah,
Yeah,
that's all I have to say about it, really.
absolutely. So we're still kicking around ideas on what we're focusing the channel on, but we're just kind of wing it. This is the trial run, first episode here. We're just gonna kind of take a look at Twitter here and see what's popping. And what do you know it? First news of the day is the Jets are releasing wide receiver Alan Lazard upon his request per Schultz report. He will go on waivers and become a free agent. Should he clear? Is that could he pass a physical? I mean, he does get reps in games, but they don't throw the ball to him.
the the most most exciting thing I think I've seen Alan Lazard do was he was on like one of those like Instagram or like TikTok videos where he was the mystery receiver or mystery player. You know, they had them all in like bodysuits where they covered their faces and of course he was, yeah, I spotted him immediately as soon as he took the mask off, but that's pretty amazing considering he didn't really show up in any games. But
It's
yeah, I
insane.
knew who he was. Um, I don't know really what to say about him in totality. He was good in Green Bay. He came to the Jets as a high profile signing, pretty much because
Because of
Aaron
Rogers.
Rodgers wanted him.
Yeah. Hmm.
You know, and that was just another footnote in a really really terrible chapter that is the New York
Yeah.
Jets.
I mean, it's amazing how long he lasted on this team, even after the departure of Rodgers, right? You could just tell his, I don't know, his performance. He didn't perform like well on the field, obviously. You could tell he had like questionable like practice habits. The one memorable catch that I saw was maybe from last week where Tyrod threw it into like double coverage, and the ball popped up in the air, and what we thought was going to be an interception, he came down with the grab, and I was like, wow, he's still on the team.
Pretty much, but I mean that was his tenure as a Jet. I think the only other catch I remember him making, I don't even remember the game now, but I for some reason I remember like Zach Wilson throwing him a bomb. I think that was he on the team Zach Wilson's rookie year? Was he on
um,
that team?
I'm trying to think.
Who made in Wilson's first start, right? Like I
Mhm.
know I know now we're kind of digging back into the archives a little bit, but I think in Wilson's first start, he threw that rollout bomb.
Mm.
And I for some reason feel like that was Lazard that made that catch. But I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I don't
But
think it was Wilson's rookie year because he was here a year or two before Rogers came,
mhm,
right? Um, but you could tell, like, when Wilson had to fill in for Rogers 2 years ago, like, Lazard was his target. He was that guy for him. That was his safety net.
yeah. He's a tough I'm thinking about his game overall, right? He's definitely more of a possession receiver, more
Mm.
of a guy that like he wasn't beating guys in man to man, but he could make contested catches. And I remember
Hmm.
when they first signed him, it was one of those head scratchers,
Yeah.
but at the same token, he showed you a certain level of play that I mean, look, Jets receivers in general haven't been great over the last several years. So he was a little bit more consistent. I remember initially when I think his first several games, though, I feel like he was dropping the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And that kind of put everybody was like, why the heck did we give this guy as big of a contract as we gave him? The guy can't even catch the ball.
Yeah. Can we
And
talk about that? Like $44 million he signed for 4 years. Connor Hughes just reported he never had more than 530 yards in any of his 3 seasons with the team. Talk about robbery. My goodness.
yeah, no, that's not an $11 million a year player. You know,
Crazy.
I'll say this. Listen about the team though, the fact that Ad Mitchell has stepped in now, and I think they got a little something there. I think
Yes.
Mechie, I think Mechie's a solid addition. I think that they're going to address that position in the draft at some point. I really do.
Yeah. Oh, wide
So
receiver?
yeah, no,
You think so?
I think because I'm listen, I'm scared. I'm really, really scared if they make a commitment to one of the quarterbacks in this draft. I don't know if that's going to be, if that's Mendoza, if that's Dante Moore, if that's Ty Simpson. I, those three guys. I mean, I like the class coming out of 2026 a lot more than I like, or I guess you could, yeah, the class of 26 a lot more than the class of 25 coming out of this draft. Or
Gotcha.
what I think I got that flip. So 27 as
27. Yeah.
opposed to 26. Yeah. Plus, my number one guy that I'd love to acquire out of anyone would be Jeremiah Smith, but we'll see.
Mm.
That's a year away.
In other news, we got the release of Steve Wilks. So
Ah,
that's yeah. So you made a great point to me. You texted me yesterday. You said something like, "How do you get fired like in a rebuilding year?"
that's an impressive dude. It's an impressive feat. It takes a very very special individual
Hmm.
to, I feel like, coming onto a team where you knew the expectations were not very high,
Yep.
but I think we went over the numbers yesterday that there were 10 games so far this season where the other team scored 27 or more points.
Oh, you got a good
They
memory.
don't. They only won one of those games. I remember this, and it was against the Bengals. It was that shootout with the Bengals that, like, I don't know how they won that game, but whatever. They managed to snatch a victory out of the jaws of defeat.
Yep.
Um, I have no idea how they did it, but and then you want to know what? Like, I understand that Glenn wanted a guy that had head coaching experience. I think he was an interim head coach.
Yeah, I mean, he was the defensive coordinator for the 49ers when they went to the Super Bowl. So, I mean,
Yeah,
sounded
but that
great on
was,
paper.
yeah, I don't know how much of that was him and how much of that was the remnants of like Rob Sala
Mhm.
and D'Amico Ryans. Like, I really don't. But that unit got progressively worse, I feel like, over the last several years. I don't. I mean, listen, San Francisco's a good team still,
Mhm.
but I feel like their offense has carried them a lot this season,
Yeah.
even with Purdy out. I'm not saying their defense has been completely, schlubs, but they're an average defense this year. So
It's insane,
I,
man. Like how does this announcement come out after 24 hours after you're questioned by the media saying, you know, who's going to be the defensive coordinator? And he's like, this, and Aaron Glenn said, this is my guy. You know, we're sticking with him. And then 24 hours later, they get their teeth kicked in by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then he's let go. Just
listen, they have to. That's coach speak. That's your basic cliche. What do you want them to say? Going into a game like that. No, he's on thin ice. Like, players listen to this stuff,
yeah,
and I can't imagine that Glenn hasn't had a great first season by any stretch, but the one thing that could get him in hot water and out quicker than anything else is if it looks like the players give up on him.
yeah,
And the same thing goes for the defensive coordinator. Like, if you're not empowering these guys, if you're not, just giving them the lift and the coaching that they need, and they don't believe in you,
there was
you're dead
obviously
in the water.
some disconnect between the players and the coaching staff, right? I mean, there was reports coming out this morning that the players grown increasingly frustrated with Steve Wilks throughout the season. Like Wilks' system supposedly, you know, I'm paraphrasing this or I'm quoting this. It says rebuffed players' efforts to take their spot. Or no, I'm sorry. Wilks' system rebuffed players' efforts to take their shot to make plays, attack. Players were told to let the scheme take care of it because of how it worked in the past. Many players felt this held them back. Um, I, it's I guess the players and the coaches right now are just I don't know who's going to step in now. Like they said the passing game coordinator is going to take over. That
Yeah, I
doesn't seem
think
like a very
yeah.
smart decision, but okay.
Well, you mean the top-ranked pass defense in the league? Yeah, no. Listen, I think you just got to get through this season. You find another guy. Obviously, Glenn. I know I got off a little bit of track before, but the one thing that Glenn liked about Wilks, I know, was the head coaching experience. But he was a senior leader for that team.
Hmm.
um, it balanced out the rest of the staff because if you remember, I mean, like, look, they hit a home run with Chris Banjo, the special
Yeah,
teams
yeah.
coordinator. He's
Oh yeah.
freaking phenomenal. he's like, look at what they're doing every single week. It's keeping them in games.
Greatest special
But
teams of all time.
there you go. And then like Tanner Engstrand has been good. I would say I don't think he's got a full cupboard. So I want to see what happens when he's got a little bit more talent and he's got like a quarterback that he can actually work with.
Hmm.
But a lot of those guys were kind of like they were like rookie guys. They were brand new. So Steve Wilks at least has had the experience in the league. I think that was what was appealing to him to balance out that staff. Now, I wouldn't mind going in another direction where if there is like a hot shot young up and coming guy that seems to have a like a really good track record, or if one of these other coaching staffs kind of turns over, and I'm just saying a name like a guy like a Vic Fangio, or a
Hmm.
guy that's been like known for his defensive schemes. Obviously he's got to be able to work with Glenn, so it's got to be a
I'll tell you who
system that
my
Glenn's familiar with.
I'll
Go
tell
ahead.
you who my pick is. You're gonna think I'm crazy here, but Wink Martindale.
Okay. I don't think that that's super crazy.
Hmm.
He
What's he
was a
doing now?
defensive guy.
Yeah, he was defensive coordinator for Dable, on the Giants a couple years ago
Okay.
when they made the playoffs. They obviously didn't get along. That whole debacle was interesting,
Who
but
was that? Who was that defensive coordinator that everybody just hated? He was on the Steelers. Get
mm,
that. You know who I'm talking about? He
uh,
never. I don't think he ever became a head coach because like people just hated his guts.
not
But
sure.
he was a really, really talented defensive coordinator. I mean, I'm not saying that's your guy, but
Yeah,
I'm saying just a guy that's been a career defensive coordinator that's got a good scheme.
Terrell
And
Austin.
please,
That's who it was.
okay.
Yeah.
And listen, anyone that's going to go ahead and say, "Oh, bring Rex on," like that ship has sailed. Please just stop. Just stop.
It
It's
would
not
get it
happening.
would get Woody some clicks and views though, because that's all he cares about. But
Well, no, I think it creates a huge problem because obviously Rex wanted that head coaching job.
mm,
He wanted to come back, and
yeah, I don't
now
think
he's on
Rex
that
would. I don't
standstill.
think Rex would take a smaller role. Like if he really wants to come back to coaching, I feel like he'd want to go full force and take the head coaching position if it was made available. I don't think he'd do a DC role.
Yeah. Listen, I think you're right about that, but even if he agreed to it, like I said, I mean, all it takes is like a 3-game losing streak, and now all of a sudden everyone's going to be saying, "Get Glenn out, put Rex in,"
Yeah.
and
Yep.
that wouldn't be fair. That
Yep.
wouldn't be fair to him. I think you gotta give this coaching staff a little bit of time and a little bit of grace. I think it's a 3-year project at this point
Yeah.
for him. So I really, unless you see that team completely give up on him, I think you're going to be seeing Aaron Glenn for a couple of years.
Yep. Well, as it stands right now, after Wilks has left, we're heading into week 15, is it? The Jets ranked 30th in points allowed per game, 20th in yards. They are allowing 35 plus over their last three, including a season high 48 versus Jaguars. That's where
Yeah,
we're at, man.
good
It's,
work, man. That's
it's great.
please. I think you could get us up in there, and I think we'd have slightly better results. I don't know, but
Maybe you
yeah.
take a chance on like a Raheem Morris type of guy. Maybe that's probably the. I could see them.
Isn't he coaching in Atlanta right now?
Yeah, but like that he's gonna lose his job, right? Like they're terrible. I could see him coming to the Jets.
You don't know. I mean, I think the way that those NFL head coach contracts work, though, is once you get one, if you take a job with another team, I think you lose that salary. If they
Okay.
fire you, and I think that's why so many of these guys, like after they become head coaches, when they get fired, with a decent amount of time on their contract, they become broadcasters. I
Hmm.
mean, why not? You're getting that salary plus the broadcaster salary. It's not a bad gig. And
Yep.
you hear guys, like, no, I want to get right back into it, and they end up taking jobs. So no, I don't think you're far off. I think that could definitely happen,
Hmm.
but usually these guys at least take a year off. Like I don't
Yeah.
I don't foresee Dable taking a head coaching gig or any coaching gig for at least another year.
Yeah, that is the trend. They always take like a gap year after like a debacle like that. So most
Yeah,
times.
unless you're Adam Gase, unless you're Adam Gase.
Man, what is he up to now? He's like coaching like high school or something. Poor guy.
Um, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Yeah. It's the same man that skipped his Thanksgiving meal to prepare to play the Bengals that night and get shut out like 30-0 or something like crazy like that.
He's a genius. He operates on a different plane, on a different realm and plane than you or I. So you could just tell. You could just one look into that man's eyes, and you could tell.
God. All right.
Oh man, listen. We've had we really could use a glimmer of hope. I really feel like we said this.
I want to see something by this team for the next 3 weeks. Who do they got? Let's check the Jets' schedule real quick.
Definitely, I think they have the Bills again. I think that's the last game of the season.
Oh God, is that even worth watching?
I think they have the Patriots too.
They got this.
Wrong about that.
They got the Saints coming up this week. That should be a close, ugly game.
That's a winnable game. That's a winnable game, but I don't know if do you really want to see him win? Like I said this earlier in the season, right? I said I remember having this conversation with you where it's like, listen, I don't mind if they win a couple of games, but now as we're getting a little bit closer to the draft, I don't know.
We got the 5 spot right now in the draft. So with the Saints coming up, they obviously got the number 1, number 2 right now. It'd be nice to get a loss. They really should lose the last 3. I mean, you got the Saints, the Bills, and the Pats.
Well, listen, the Saints, I think, have won their last 2 games.
Yeah, they're on a little bit of a roll.
They're on and look what's happening. They got a rookie quarterback in who's starting to play a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Yeah. Who's their quarterback? Spencer Rattler?
No, Tyler Show.
That's right. Yeah, Rattler's had an awful season. Okay.
But yeah, man, I don't know. I just want a glimmer of hope for this team. It's been so long. You have those draft picks now in the next 2 drafts. I think the greatest gift you got as a football fan is the fact that, unfortunately, Daniel Jones went down for that team.
Yep. Can we talk about the Colts for a little bit? My goodness, what a fall from grace. Start off the season so hot. 8-2. Have a devastating injury. Daniel Jones goes down. Phillip Rivers is in. Like, they're not going to make the playoffs now.
I think so. I think I looked up the odds yesterday, and Vegas has them, I believe, plus 600 to make the playoffs, minus 900 to not make the playoffs.
Wow.
Which, if you told me those odds at 8-2 after week 10, I mean, come on.
Jeez. I don't think we've seen a collapse like this in a while.
Well, listen, I'm sure other teams have melted down the stretch. I remember some teams, like, it's crazy. I remember one year, I want to say it was the Titans. Like, they lost like their first like 6 games, and then they won out. Like, it was like something unbelievable. Like, but they still didn't make. I could be wrong about that. I think they could have. They might not have even made the playoffs that year, but I think actually that's what I think happened. They went 0-8, and then they won their last 8. So crazy stuff happens. But I don't listen. Their defense is good enough to be a playoff team.
Yep.
I think they have decent receivers. They got a great running back.
You got a great running back.
Great running back who's having a career year, but and a good tight end. That Warren's a good rookie tight end.
Yep.
He's not Brock Bowers, but he's a nice piece. And if you remember, our Jets, that was like something that they said. I remember hearing the rumors heading into the draft this year that Warren's a pick, Warren's in play. with the Jets pick.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up going Membo, but
Yep.
I kind of like that too because we weren't going anywhere with an extra tight end, and Mason Taylor's been good. But
Yeah.
sorry, we're getting off track.
Yeah.
So Colts, I mean, look, if they don't win out, that's another top 15 draft pick that the Jets are going to have in the war chest, man.
That is true. We got to root for them to lose. So
And is Sauce got hurt? Is he back? I don't even know.
they're probably going to sideline him for the rest of the year, if I had to guess. This is crazy, man. 44-year-old Phillip Rivers leads the Colts to try to save their season. You know what's crazy? The most crazy thing about his signing, he gets to extend his health insurance for his family for another 10 years coming out of retirement. Good for him.
But he resets the clock. I think he would have been eligible for the Hall of Fame this year.
Oh, right.
And now he's gonna have to wait another 5. It's 5 years from your last game. So
yep, it's funny.
Listen. He's And I.
What would you think? Did you watch any of his highlights? What do you think he had? Like, do you think he has anything left? He left a lot of throws and didn't have a lot of zip on him.
He was not moving around that well.
Oof, yeah.
He was. I noticed he was maybe taking 2 or 3 steps in and around the pocket. I don't remember seeing anything. I'm sure he did, but I don't remember seeing any highlights of him like rolling out of the pocket.
Yeah.
They're not designing any rollouts for him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's, as sad to say it, I think it's almost like Eli's last couple of years, where he was just kind of inside the pocket. If it's not there, he's not going to chuck and duck. I think he'll take sacks.
Yeah.
He'll just take hits if he's inside the pocket. But I will say this: they kept him pretty clean.
Yep. Protect him a little bit. Yeah. He's just not. He came off the couch. Like, he's not game shape ready. You got fans on Twitter like calling for like Anthony Richards to start the remaining games because they didn't like how he moved in the pocket. Like, come on. Like, the guy is 44 years old. He's the best thrower. Can you rely on Richardson? No.
No.
Like,
no. And do you really want that? Like, I would love to know what Colts fans think. Honestly, do you think that Richardson? I watched enough of his starts that yes, like the dude's dripping with arm talent, but I don't know. I think he's more. I'll put it to you this way: I think he's more Jameis Winston than he is Patrick Mahomes.
Great point.
Is that fair to say? I mean, can the guy throw for 300 yards? Absolutely. Can he run? Yeah, absolutely. In the goal line, he could be a threat also. But, I mean, what do you need that for? You got Jonathan Taylor anyway.
Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, talk about another fall from grace. Kansas City not making the playoffs for the first time in, what, like a decade? Like, has the dynasty fallen now?
Listen, that's the type of guy I would never count out. I think that they had a weird year, if you remember. I mean, Rashee Rice going down, well, not going down, but, getting in trouble and missing, the first 6 games of the season.
Yeah.
That offense looked completely different when he came back. Mm-hmm. He finally had a receiver that teams had to prep for. I mean, Kelsey's not that dude anymore.
Mm-hmm.
None of those other guys. I mean, like Hollywood Brown, they relied on early, never really had it.
Mm-hmm.
Juju was on that. Juju Smith-Schuster, like, what happened to him? That guy I thought would be at least a star-type player, never really panned out. Mm-hmm. And his line isn't great. It's good, but it's not great. Mm-hmm. So if they were winning games, it was because of him.
Yep.
But what's an ACL usually take? About 9 months?
Yeah, he's probably going to miss like the first few games of next season. It's not good.
Yeah. Listen, I like you and I remember this, like when Brady had like he basically missed a whole season. And I think that was the year they missed the playoffs. The Pats missed the playoffs. They ended up, I remember they got a good player in the draft. Mm-hmm. Actually, Was that the year? It was the year. That was the year. That was the Matt Castle year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
Matt
was.
Castle actually, no, maybe they even made the playoffs with Matt Castle.
I
I
think
want to
they
say.
made it the first round. Yeah,
Yeah. So they didn't even sorry, they didn't even miss the playoffs. They actually still made the playoffs with that team with Brady going down.
yep.
And so no. To answer your question, no. I think that the Chiefs will be fine. They got a great coach.
Yep.
They'll retool. I know that there's a few players on that team making a good amount of money. If
Absolutely.
Mahomes was going to miss half the season, I wouldn't like their chances. But listen, if they get him back within the first 4 games of the season, I think they'll be just fine.
Okay. Should we switch gears? Talk about baseball a little bit.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
All right. Let's. Who's a good baseball reporter? Jeff Passan. Just want to see what's going on.
Well, I think I told you I saw up on the feed before that the Yanks are interested in bringing back Luke Weaver.
Oh yeah, let's.
You
So,
want to you want to share the story of the one Yankee game we went to
what
with
about
Luke
it?
Weaver? Well, I'm saying I did. I listen. We both kind of laughed when Luke Weaver came to the mound because they had this whole lights package and stuff like that on the
Oh,
scoreboard
you're talking
for him.
about like the Yankee Stadium theatrics where they put on a whole like Star Wars theme for him. That was kind of cool. It definitely had some visual appeal. I could see the intimidation factor for the other team. But he
Do you ever
started
remember
off.
a reliever having that type of package?
No,
Ever?
no. But when he was good, he had aura. He was good with the media, and I get it. Like I get the whole Star Wars, shtick. I get it. But I mean, he just fell off so hard in the last like 3 quarters, so later half of the season. He just didn't have it anymore. And then
Do you think his arm got tired?
maybe he is fighting through an injury. I don't know. I'm not gonna say like the
No,
the
listen, I don't want to
TJ word,
speculate.
but
Yeah, but it was weird, right? It he was so unbelievable in that playoff run, and then when he hit the Dodgers a little bit, everything kind of came off the rails. I'm talking now, obviously not this year, but 2 years ago.
yeah. Um, didn't have a very good playoff career with us thus far.
Well,
Um,
I think he played. I think he pitched well in the first half of the playoffs in 20. What's that
2023.
now? 20.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I think he pitched. I think he pitched well enough for us that you definitely thought this guy could listen. I remember we thought he could be the closer,
hmm Yeah.
but him and it's crazy thinking about how good Yankee bullpens typically are.
Yeah, and it's just they're gonna need to sign some guys this year, obviously. We brought back Tim Hill. That's your guy. At least for
Timmy,
another year. We got. I like the additions we got at the deadline last year. Who do we get? We got Bednar and Dotel. I love
yeah,
those two
Doval,
guys.
Doval,
Doval,
yep.
sorry. Those guys are going to be our staples in the bullpen, but we need another two guys. You sign Yarborough, he's okay. Um, you
What do you
know,
think about them letting Mark Leiter go?
I wasn't crazy about him. He had a unique repertoire. Remember the game we went to. He was throwing those like 50 mile per hour, like looping like 12-6 curveballs. Those threw some hitters off, but like he wasn't a power pitcher by any means.
No,
He was definitely like a ground ball type of pitcher, but I don't think he was overly impressive.
okay.
He's I thought
I
he was
I
just another guy.
I liked him to an extent. I did, and
Mhm.
I mean, think about it this way. I think he ended up getting 3 million. I forgot. Then forgive me. I don't remember who just signed him, but
Mhm.
he only got $3 million. I feel like a guy like that could eat some innings. I think that to me that would have been worth 3 mil. I'm not saying this guy's your setup guy. I'm not saying that you want to rely on him heavily,
Yeah.
But I think for 3 million, I don't know. I feel like right now, unless the Yankees have or they plan to bring up someone from the farm, like some young pitcher
Yeah.
that's going to fill in that role. I don't quite know what they're doing.
Yeah, there's obviously need a couple more guys. We it's I don't know. I'm just sorry. I'm just distracted here. I'm thinking back to like Frank the Tank, how he's always complaining about the Mets. He's they let go of their very three key core guys, and every Frank the Tank video I watch, it's like, oh, they're gonna sign Josh Bell. Oh, they're gonna sign Josh Bell. Blah, blah, and he starts biting himself. And apparently, according to Jeff Passan, Josh Bell signed with the Minnesota Twins on a 1-year contract. So Frank, you don't need to worry about the Mets signing Josh Bell anymore. So, anyways, but
I have a Josh Bell story. It's
yeah,
not yeah. Well, I went to I went to the All-Star game in Cleveland with my father. It was one of the best trips that I've ever gone on. Um, and we got to the home run derby. My dad caught Josh Bell's money ball.
wow,
So
that's crazy.
he's got the ball. He's very, very happy to show it to you if you ever come over to the house.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no. He said he's like, oh, I gotta figure out a time where he's signing autographs. I gotta get him to sign that. That would be so cool.
That's so funny.
So, but yeah, no. Well, listen, I isn't it weird? I feel like the Yankees would do better with a guy like that. Lefty, power.
We need a first baseman. Like, who do we have right now?
Well,
we
listen,
we have Ben Rice
I
platooning.
think they like Ben Rice a lot. We'll see what happens if they gave him 400 to 500 at bats. I think that he would have decent numbers. I do.
Okay.
And you have to and look at what the Yankees are doing in this offseason, right? They are not spending money.
Yeah, they made it very clear about that at the winter meetings. So I don't know how to feel about that, but I mean, you got to run a business. You got to run a business. I get it. This is not the Mets where we have unlimited funds.
Yeah, but at the same time, this also isn't George Steinbrenner's Yankees anymore. I mean, it hasn't been for years, and we know that.
Right.
But if there's one team that's doing that, it's the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And once again, they signed Edwin Diaz. They go out and they're in the mix supposedly for Kyle Tucker. They're
Yeah.
in the mix for like all these.
And if Kyle Tucker doesn't pan out, they're gonna try to get back Cody Bellinger. It's like they.
Oh yeah, nice consolation prize. I mean, give me a break. The Yankees supposedly are still in on Bellinger.
I think he resigns. What do you think?
I think them signing Trent Grisham. I don't think they ever expected in their wildest dreams that Trent Grisham was going to take that qualifying offer. And now that they have, think about what you've heard. They're talking up Spencer Jones.
Yeah.
They're talking up Jason Dominguez. We have the pieces. We have the players in there. I think if Trent Grisham never re-signed, I think you would have had a good shot at Bellinger. I think that now.
So now you don't think we have a chance?
I, dude, how much was Grisham's contract? 22 million.
Yeah.
That's a huge chunk, and they want to be under the 300.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to exceed it. What do you think Bellinger's going to get in the open market?
I think he gets 30 at least.
I'll put it to you this way. They said I think he's a Boris guy, right?
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. So I think once Tucker signs, I think that was the news that I heard, that then you'll see Bellinger move. They want to wait and see what Tucker gets first and slot that, I guess, a little bit less than whatever he ends up making.
Okay.
For what it's worth. I'd love to see him back. I think that he's the right type of player. He embodies what it is to be a Yankee. He really is a pro. But
his gun, man. He's got that arm too. Just like you even pointed it out to me when we went to the game. It's like I didn't realize how hard he throws from the outfield. He could throw it on a dart, and he could throw it on a fly from like the warning track all the way to the freaking catcher. So, I mean, he does everything right on the ball field. So,
Absolutely right. And if you needed the depth, I'm sure he doesn't prefer it, but he'd play first. He
yeah.
could play first in a pinch.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be a great guy to sign. I like.
This whole infield, man, is driving me nuts. Like, what is their plan? We don't know what's even happening with Jazz Chisholm. Is he coming back? Our
Well, he's coming
shortstops.
back. They got him for a year.
Oh, they
They
do.
got Jazz for one more year. Yeah,
Okay.
Jazz is back. Jazz has 1 year left.
Okay.
The question is whether or not they truly want him. And listen, the whole he's a heady type player doesn't really like. I
He's got
haven't
power,
seen.
man. He's the best hitting second baseman in the league
No, I'm not.
last
But
year.
I'm saying like you know how like in the past the Yankees are like, oh man, that guy's like a headache in the clubhouse. That's not the type of player the Yankees. I haven't seen that. I've seen a passionate dude.
I see a
I've seen a
passionate
really
dude who's got aura.
yeah.
Like, I mean,
And I don't know. Listen, I don't know what else there is to the rumors about them going after Fernando Tatis Jr. I don't know if that's even a like if that's complete fantasy or if there's a little bit of smoke there. I think if there is and he's available, I think you have to at least check in. And
yeah,
I think you have to try and make that move. But then if you had both him and Jazz on the team, those are two young, very expressive type players.
yeah. You think
I
they
would love
can?
to see him, but
I think they could coexist for sure.
yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And I wouldn't mind seeing them long term. But I know some of the blue bloods out there will say, oh no, it's like listen, and we're going back a ways, but if the Yankees could sign Ricky Henderson,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? They can deal with Reggie Jackson.
Deion
They can
Sanders.
deal with Jazz Chisholm. He's not anywhere near the volatility of some of these other guys.
Right.
I don't. Well, they have that. There's the one Japanese. There's the one Japanese player. I think he was posted. I think he's the guy that we were kind of talking about before we started. That he's got like a week left.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, and I haven't heard any like.
Oops.
I'm trying to remember that guy's name now. I, I would like to see them address that position. I think if you see him taking McMahon back. Can we
Nope.
talk about for a second though? What's their fascination with like some of these guys from Colorado that were listen,
That's a good point. Yeah.
LeMahieu was the best of the bunch, I would say, that the Yankees acquired from Colorado that translated well. But it seems like any of the other guys that they ever end up signing off the Rockies, like never end up being anywhere close.
It's weird. It's like Cashman like uses Colorado as like a safety net when he needs to like bargain bin shop. He's like, that's the team that we, you know, try to talk with and make deals with. That's a good point.
Yeah, but I just don't. I don't know, man. Like I don't think anything's happening at third base until the trade deadline.
Yeah, probably a deadline move.
And does Ketel Marte play third?
Um,
I know the Yankees are on his no
nah,
trade
he's
list. I
second
wonder
base.
if that's he's only second.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would use. I don't know if that's more of a leverage thing or he really wouldn't want to come here.
Well,
But
he apparently the Yankees aren't on his no trade list, so that's not happening.
no, but that's what I'm saying. That might just be leverage. That might not
Maybe.
be that. You don't know. Was there another guy that said the same thing like a couple of years back? We ended up bringing him in. The Yanks were on his no trade list, and he
I don't know.
okayed the trade to us. I remember that happened. That thought crossed my mind a couple of days back, but there was another guy that said that.
Not sure.
Yeah, that was like 2 or 3 years ago. I want to say.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So switching gears here, we got our Knicks in the NBA Cup Finals against the Spurs. Spurs pulling out a crazy win over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Came down to free throws. I think they won by like 1 or 2 points, giving them their second loss of the season. You got the rematch of the '99 Finals. I mean, you got the Spurs and Knicks. hopefully we can get our revenge. This one will be for Patrick Ewing, I guess. So, you got any predictions for that?
How about this one, right? How about this? If Brunson goes over 35, I think they win.
Over 35. Okay.
I think that's yeah. I don't look. They should be able to win this game. I think Wemby's still a little banged up. I think they're even, from what I remember seeing, they are talking about him even coming off the bench in this one.
Really?
So yeah. So and who knows? Who knows? I mean, if the guy can play, you got to play him, obviously.
Yep.
And to me, he's a top 5 player, dude.
Absolutely.
He's a legitimate top 5 player. I told you one of my observations from the beginning of the season was the Spurs have a really, really good team.
Yeah.
I remember watching a couple of their games, and they have really good young players.
They have good young players, side pieces like Castle and Vassell, or Devin Vassell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Devin Vassell. I mean, look, the Aaron Fox.
Aaron Fox.
Johnson's still on that team.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, their trio of really good young stars. Yeah. So they have Castle. They have Castle. Derek Harper Jr. Sorry, Ron Harper Jr. My bad.
Right.
And Wemby. I mean, that's you have listen. They can be what Oklahoma City was. I don't know how quickly they get there, but they're a very talented young team.
Do you think this moment in time is too big for Wemby? Do you think it's like too soon? Or do you think this is his time to shine? He breaks out, becomes like a household. Well, he already is a household name, but like maybe this will be his welcome to the NBA moment.
Listen, I mean, if people haven't watched the Spurs play, and they haven't seen too many of these primetime games at all, I've watched maybe about 10 games he's played in, and I would say in almost every single one, he was the most talented player on the court.
Yeah. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at the spread real quick. We got the Knicks favored 3.5. They're technically the home team. Man, I mean, they were neck and neck with the Thunder in that entire game. They didn't get a fair whistle. Like, I watched some of the game. Like, they weren't getting any calls. Like, the refs really wanted Oklahoma to win that. But I think they're going to put up a good fight. I think it's going to come down to like the last shot, to be honest, tonight.
I don't, like I said, I don't know if Wemby's healthy, then I think that you could have an absolute dogfight.
Yeah.
If he's a little banged up and they have to limit his minutes a little bit more, I think the Knicks should be a comfortable win. I'm not saying they're going to put him to bed early and that's it. Like that, it would surprise me if it wasn't close at the half. But
I think it all depends on how many minutes Mitchell Robinson gets tonight. Like, Brown has only been playing in like 16, 17 minutes a night. I think you try to stretch him a little bit tonight. I don't know how you feel about that.
Listen, it depends, right? Does Cat get into foul trouble early?
That's huge.
Does
Can we talk about that for a second? That sets the tone for the entire game, is whether or not Cat can stay out of foul trouble or not. Because when he does those stupid fouls like early in the game, it's just the overall feel of the game just changes. I don't know. It's weird.
Let me ask you this: do you think it happens out of a mental lapse, or do you think that he's more trying to make a play?
I think he's trying to make a play. He's trying to do his part on defense. It's just he gets too handsy. He's a big guy. So.
Yeah, well, and the refs are looking. Obviously, if they're calling those types of fouls on him, they're obviously have eyes on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like from the outset of the game. And the last thing you want, I'll add another caveat. So Brunson over 35, and if Cat doesn't have to leave the game early due to foul trouble, I'm saying like if it, and I'm not talking about if he fouls out. I'm talking more about does he midway through the first does he already have 2 fouls?
Yeah,
Like and that's gonna play a big role in all of this, I think. But
absolutely. But man, can we talk about Mikal Bridges this year? He is just coming into his own, man. He's become my favorite player to watch on the team. Like on the defensive side of the ball, averaging like two and a half steals a game. It feels like guy just does everything for the team. I feel like he just didn't find his way under Tibbs, and Mike Brown is just getting the best out of him right now. I think he could be an all-star. Well, maybe not, but he just doesn't put enough. If he just puts up more points, like he averages 15, right? That's not going to get you an all-star invite. But like, if somebody goes down with an injury, like God forbid Brunson does, I feel like his production would carry the team. So.
Well, remember when he was, everyone thought of him as a third or like a fourth option last year, like off of the on the team, because obviously, listen, you have Brunson, you have Cat, and then from there, I mean, him and OG were the 2 other guys like in that offense that were more like 3-and-D.
Yep.
Like kind of hang out in the corner, be ready for that shot and nail it. But but when I watched his game a little bit more, right? He's got that nice little mid-range fadeaway.
Yep.
That he hits, and he's usually the taller of the the 2 guys in the matchup when he's posting up. So
his dribble pull up like in the mid range is like, if I had to compare it to somebody, it's like Kevin Durant. It's almost impossible to defend. He just has long, lanky arms, man. He just has a really high release. We need more out of that from him. But it's just tough when you have players as good as Brunson and Cat, just facilitating the offense, but
he's certainly capable. Look at what he did. Look at what he did with Brooklyn that one year that, really was the reason we wanted to trade for him.
Mm-hmm.
It was, he could be I don't know if he should be a one option on a championship team.
Not a one
I think
option.
That would be too much.
Yeah.
But that said, he could be a 2B.
Yep.
He could be a 2B.
Yep.
I don't think he's a 2A. I think he could be like a 2B guy. And that's good enough, especially he's a better offensive player than Josh Hart.
But let's talk about Josh Hart. Look at his 3-point production this year. It definitely went up from last year. Well, no, he's hitting the same clip. I think Monica McNutt like reported that he's making the same amount of threes, but like less attempts or something like that. I'm not sure, but I feel like his 3-point shot improved a lot. Like just make percentage. I think he's been more. You start to see guys starting to close out on him now, where they would just leave him open most of the time.
I think that now, if you want to talk about the Mike Brown versus Tibbs kind of effect, and I think Brown even said, I think after the last game, that they're starting to like really click and starting to really pick up the system. I'm very, very excited to see what they, not only do in a big spot tonight, but what they do for the rest of the season. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about with Josh Hart. I think that they're figuring out where they're supposed to be on the court, when they should be taking a shot. And look, Josh Hart could drive too. He's
God, you hear it, Stan
coast to coast.
Yeah, you hear it on the broadcast on Amazon, like Stan Van Gundy just praising his finishing effort. He says he thinks he's the top 3 finisher in the league. It's just the way he avoids contact when driving into the paint.
you could tell like when sometimes when a defender jumps early with like two hands up like this, like Josh Hart will like bump him and then just like pull back a little bit and just like float the shot up. Like he's so good at that. So good at that.
The one thing that I remember, like, and this is, I don't want him to lose his aggressiveness completely, but sometimes the same way that we were talking about Cat kind of just trying to make a play on defense and it gets him into foul trouble. I think the same thing happens with Josh Hart driving and then looking to dish,
Mm.
and he turns the ball over. So, if it, to me, I don't want him to lose that aggressiveness if they're starting to close out on him. I'd love to see him attack the paint,
Yeah.
but I think if he's going to attack the paint, he's either hoping that he makes the shot or he gets fouled.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him attacking the paint necessarily to be kicking out shots, because I feel like when he does that, it's going to get him into more trouble. And so far, so good.
Mm-hmm.
This year. So I think you're spot on.
Absolutely. Well, we got to talk about him, man. Mitchell Robinson. The trade rumors, he's the longest tenured Knick, 6 years with the team. I feel like every year it's something this, Mitch for this guy, Mitch for that guy. Do you think he makes it past the deadline?
I don't think that there's. You want to know what I'll give us a hot take.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a player that's not a star that's more important to what a team does than Mitchell Robinson.
Thank you. My sentiments exactly. I think besides Brunson, he is the most important player on our team. Why? Offensive rebounds. We haven't had production like that in decades. Do you know how many second chances we get on the offensive side? We get an offensive rebound. He kicks it to Brunson on the 3-point line. Like, there's so many second chance opportunities he generates. It's so invaluable. Like,
It's not only that, but all right. So there's the good. I 100% understand. But remember, this man is a flawed player. He can't hit free throws. It's scary how
it's
bad he
scary
is
bad.
at free throws. To the point where like teams are foul, like they went full hack-a-shack on him in
We
the playoffs last
probably
year.
will see this tonight.
You might,
You know?
you might, and it's, to me, that's the scary part. And once again, he's not a player that I think plays more than 20 minutes anyway. And I don't know if that's why he picks up fouls at the clip that he picks them up, because he knows like he doesn't have to worry about playing 40 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, when he's on the court, he clearly makes people think on defense. And on the offensive side, you're right. He's a vacuum. He could clean up. He could clean up the glass, and
There, there's
he adds a different element to the team.
absolutely. There's a lot of people saying that his overall defensive output has dropped since last year, but I just think even with that drop off, the rebounds are going to win you games at the end of the day. Maybe he can't close out, 3-point shooters on the perimeter as fast as he did before Embiid intentionally injured him. I think he'll get that back eventually. Just conditioning. I think he's just got to stretch that ankle out. I don't know. Like, I think that'll get better over time. You don't just lose that skill. It's clearly injuries are inhibiting his defensive output.
Let's take a step back for a second, right? Because originally you were talking about a trade. What's his value? What's his value to another team?
Well, he's on a $55-60 million contract right now. AAV, I think like 12 million. It's nothing crazy. I think there'd be a ton of teams looking for a guy like that.
Listen, I'm spitballing completely, but what would that bring you back? And think about it. I mean, you think about the two guys, I guess, that the Knicks are most linked to right now, right? The pipe dream, Giannis,
Yep.
obviously, but then what? Jose Alvarado is the other guy that they're talking about right now. Um, like that's the hot name, but I don't necessarily think that that's a hot name. You know, it's not a star.
He may Alvarado makes 4.5 mil, so a straight up trade wouldn't work. You need a couple of players back with him, but um, I don't know. Like, I think he stays. I think they're just. I don't think he goes anywhere.
What do you think? What do you think this team needs the most?
Needs the most a backup center for Mitch because of his injury prowess. You know, we need more bigs, like a Gafford. Like I'd love a player like that, Daniel Gafford.
No, I'm just saying.
A Derek Queen. We're never getting Derek Queen, but my God, how good is that guy, man? He's a big dribbler. You know, he can rebound. He's like one of those ethical, like old head type of players. Like he's only 20 years old, drafted by Atlanta. He had a funny story. He's with the Pelicans now, right? Yeah, he's with the Pelicans.
I think so. Yeah.
The guy he's a bucket getter, man. We don't got that with Mitch. We don't got that with any of our bigs besides Cat. You know, I think we could use another player like that.
So you want a guy with a little bit more post presence that is a
Yeah.
little bit more of an offensive big than what you have.
Yeah, who can still rebound.
Like Yabusele and
His primary skill got to be rebounding, though, for sure. And I don't really trust Huck Porty, man. He gets way too much foul trouble.
The best highlight I've seen all year with Huck Porty, and it was when Kolek dumped the ball to him and
he passed it. Oh my God! He said, "Dump the fucking ball."
No, but that's I mean that there you go. I mean, talk about a guy with no offensive instinct. You're 6'11". You don't want to dunk the ball, like you're right under the basket.
And he's got a float game. Like I've seen it. It's just
you dunk that ball though with two hands. You just go up with two hands and you dunk it.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
Yeah, I think that play alone did get a lot of traction in the media. Like there was meme central, but I think Huck Porty's still trying to figure out like Brown's offensive system because you could tell like they're pass first. Like always look for the open guy, swing it to the open guy. You know, because Deuce was open, he just missed the shot. But what's the more high percentage shot? Obviously, him going up and dunking that. But you know, he really hasn't really found his way on the offensive side of things. I think we need another big. You know, other than that, we got the wings. You know, I don't think it would take much to get a Dante DiVincenzo back if you really wanted another wing.
Like you said, I mean, I don't know.
Or Jose Alvarado. Yeah.
Well, look, obviously after Brunson, I like the job Kolek's done.
Me too.
He's obviously a different player. But at the same token, I'm just fine with Deuce and with Kolek as your other guards, and you got good wing players, two-way wing. You got two-way wing players. You got Bridges and you got Anunoby.
Yep.
And Anunoby can size up a little bit. So I mean, they have their most complete team that they've had in years.
I like Kolek. He just needs to take another little step. Like I want to see more of him, like taking shots. Like he's always looking to pass. He's a pass first point guard. I get it. He needs to be a little less selfish and go for it, man. Like he's got a shot. He's got a good jumper. But
he got a good jumper and he could drive a little bit.
Yeah.
He finishes tough.
He's a cone on defense, but I mean, you know, he's good on the offensive side. But
that seems to be all right. So maybe you're onto something there, right? Like that maybe you could use another lockdown defender at the top.
Yeah.
But me, you know, like that might be someone. The only other type of player I could see them. I know that it's not out there, but like a I don't know, like a Bane type player.
Desmond Bain.
Just a guy that gets, yeah, just
Like a Bruce
like a guy that
Brown
gets,
type of guy?
yeah, like a Bruce
Yeah.
Brown, like a PJ Tucker in his prime
Mm.
that just gets under the skin of some of these other guys and can throw them off their game. Like I feel like a piece like that, they might not be.
We don't have any
greatest
shit talkers on our
player.
team, man. We don't have any shit talkers. They're all respectful. We
Yeah.
need a guy like that, like a Bobby Portis Jr. type.
Yeah, just a guy that can get under the other team's skin a little bit, and it's not going to let someone else. I mean, what? I mean, Clarkson's not that guy, you know.
I'm not overly impressed with Clarkson so far. What's your thoughts on him?
I think he's still fitting into the system. I think you got to give him a little bit more time. We were saying the same thing about Bridges 2 years ago.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
I
true.
think that sometimes it takes guys a little bit longer to kind of just get the role that they're supposed to fit into. You wanted him to come, like, what I want to look up his stats really quick. Like, are his stats that far off from where they were previous seasons?
Hmm.
You know, if I had to say so, I don't think so. I feel like
So he's averaging way less minutes than he was on the Jazz. So on the Jazz, he was literally carrying their team for the past couple of years, averaging 26 minutes, 16.2 points per game, almost 4 assists a game. Where he's on the Knicks now, he's barely touching 19 minutes a game, averaging 9.6 points per game, 1.6 assists. So it's a huge drop off. I think it's, you know, because he wasn't a bench player on the Jazz, right? He was starting for them.
No, or no, I think he might have been like a sixth man.
If I'm
remembering correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he was a sixth man.
Yeah.
But listen, I think you're right. I didn't realize he dropped off that much, and I didn't realize he was like a 16 point a game player.
Yeah.
Previously, and now he's just about a 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, listen, I think that's very more than fair. I think he needs to step up a little bit. You know, the other thing I'm just looking at, like, his last 10, like, dude needs to shoot the three better.
Yeah. 0 for 1, 0 for 1, 0 for 4, 2 for 5, 0 for 3, 1 for 3, 3 for 10 against the Raptors. Damn.
I'm looking it up, like right now. I'm looking at it. His 3-point percentage is 15.4 in the last 10 games.
Oof.
His free throw percentage is 60%. So he's working through something. You know, and once again, he's averaging 7.9 in his last 10. So, but listen, if you're gonna shoot that poorly from the field, yeah, I would expect your percentages to take a dip.
Yeah. All right, I think we're gonna call it here. So what's your prediction for tonight? What's the score? Who do you got?
It's funny, right? I'm looking at this matchup right now, and they have identical records. Line. I think this is going to be a pretty high scoring game.
Yeah, me too.
Prediction wise, let's go Knicks 128. Let's go San Antonio 122.
Okay.
I think they win by 6. How about that?
All right. I like it. I'm going to go Knicks 132, Spurs 128.
Okay.
So, real high scoring, I feel like. But yeah, that wraps up the first episode of Like a Bad Neighbor Pod. Justin, I appreciate you coming on here, and we'll be back very soon for episode 2. Catch you on the next one.
Sounds like a plan. Yep. Catch you on the flip side. All right. Take it easy.